I don't do that. I look at Maricopa County, and I even kind of confine it to a price point. The reason I do that, because for wholesaling, most of us probably aren't doing a whole lot of Pinal County deals, and I will do some here and there, but for the most part, I mean, we're probably, most of the deals are going to be here in Phoenix. So I look at Maricopa County, and then I go 700 and below, because I'm not doing a lot. I don't think anybody's doing a ton of wholesale deals 700 and up. Now, there's fix and flippers that will target areas that are nicer and more expensive to do fix and flips. On a wholesale level, I'm not saying it can't be done or anything like that. It's a tougher one to target because you're going to be limited to how many buyers you have, even if you come across a deal. So in the higher price ranges, you need a huge spread. For example, we've got one right now that we couldn't sell. We sent out this morning, and I had a good chance, kind of a good feeling that it wouldn't sell, to be honest. We sent it out at $559. We had it under contract at $500. It's a nice house, 3,300 square foot, backs to the golf course in Troon North, and the cheaper phase of Troon is worth, like, as is quickly, based on the comp, $625. Like, if you put it on the market, it should sell pretty quick for $625. You could probably list it for $645, $650, and it could potentially sell somewhere in the middle there. And at $559, we weren't able to move that one. So it's kind of crazy, right? Now, there's another one that we'll do really well on in Scottsdale we've got for $625, that if you put that one on the market right now, it would move quickly at $850. That one will be able to move. So you need a bigger spread. At a $200,000 house, you know, we might be able to wholesale a house at, say, $170, that on the open market retail, you could sell for like $200. Does that make sense? So we're way closer to retail at the lower price ranges, where there's tons of buyers. There's not as much inventory. Those properties are really hot. They're easy for the next person to sell them to a retail buyer really quickly. You get into the expensive stuff, it's a little harder. So for all that, you know, 99% of the deals I've done in the last 3 years have been under 700,000. So 10,379 of those. If we look at the pendings, same thing. Maricopa County under 300,000. We've got 8973, which means there's almost as many properties pending right now as there is active under 700,000 in Maricopa County. Closed in the last 30 days, so this is June 10th through yesterday, since the stats hadn't finished yet for today when I pulled it. I went through 30 days back of yesterday, 7,529. So if you look at that, what we closed in the last 30 days, we're probably pretty close here, because some of these, a certain percentage of these are going to not close. They'll fall out of escrow. You know, some of these probably just went pending in the last 10 days. There's going to be inspections, renegotiations, they'll back out, whatever. Some of them could be past that, the loan falls through, whatever. But it'll be, you know, I would guess 10 to 20% of this will fall off. So we're going to close in this month, probably pretty close to what we closed last month. And that represents, actually did the math, 1.38 months supply. So some of you guys are probably kind of familiar with this, and some of you guys, this might be totally new. This is the best way to track where your local market's at for any market. If I went to Florida right now and I wanted to start wholesaling, I'd want to know how many active properties are listed retail in the Florida MLS, how many are pending, and how many sold in the last 30 days. When I look at active, active is pretty easy, it's anything active. For pending, for those of you guys who use MLS, I'm counting UCB, what's the other one? UCB,
NCC,
pending, and what is it?
It's contingent, by contingency.
Yes, so one of them's under contract accepting backups. One of them's under contract, but it's contingent upon
The
the one I'm buying.
The buyer's selling
their property.
Yeah, the buyer's
Yeah.
selling, yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple statuses of pending that are kind of not quite as secure. It's just pending, clear to close. But I count all those together. All those that are under contract. There's a buyer and seller that have agreed to something. So regardless if the seller thinks it's not ironclad and they want backups or not, like, it's pending. So close. So if you look at it and you look at how many closed in the last 30 days, 7,500, and you look at the pendings and you go, okay, well, you know, that makes sense. Not much has changed. We're about the same as we were last month. And you look at how many are active, then you can look at if no more houses became available on the market in Phoenix in the next 30 days, and we continue to sell them at the rate that we have been selling them based on the last 30 days, we would run out of properties in 1.3 months, or basically like 40 days. That's like no inventory. So a balanced market is like 4 to 6 months. So if we had 4 to 6 months, we'd be in a balanced market. 6 months or more, we're in a buyer's market. There's a lot to choose from. There's an oversupply. Prices are going down. We're in like no inventory. Now, if you take 1.3 months and then you factor into that a lot of the houses that represent that 1.3 months are the same houses that were active last month and the month before that and the month for that. 10% of those are probably just overpriced houses. It's crazy. So what that means, like I was saying, we're in a super hot market. And so when inventory is down, prices are going up, right? Basic supply and demand. Flippers want to get their hands on inventory. They want to push prices up, but it's hard for them to get inventory. The buyers that are out there are going to pay top dollar because they don't have anything to choose from. So they come across a house that fits what they like. It's really nice. They're going to be willing to pay top dollar. And so this is kind of what we're at. What this means to me as a wholesaler and to us as wholesalers is the disposition side of things is easier right now. So when we're in a hot market like this, where supply is down, there's more people getting in, wanting to fix and flip. That's all getting more competitive. And so people are trying to make deals. Fix and flippers are trying to make deals just like we're trying to find deals. And prices will go up. So now you're going to sell properties with thinner margins. Some of the properties I sell, I'm like, man, I'm kind of surprised that it went, But I don't do fix and flips, and I know it's competitive for right now. So those guys, they're having to get more and more competitive on their margins, to do deals. Versus when the market flips, like back in 2010, 2011, 2012, even 2009, and I was doing deals, I was selling most of my properties to the same small handful of investors. Because what happens is, and this will happen again now when the market shifts, I don't know if it's going to happen next month, I don't know if it's going to happen in 3 years. I certainly don't see anything that says it's going to happen like next month unless there's war or some crazy outbreak that has nothing to do with Phoenix real estate. But when it does turn, right, and we're in the opposite market, that's what happens. The professional buyers stick around. There's still people, in fact, they go to work, they start shopping because everything goes on sale. So that's when they extend their. So back then, like 2010, 2012, like I was saying, I'm selling to a few people. Most of those guys were cash flow investors. Now, right now, those guys are still in town, but they're not buying a whole lot of my deals. They might have other lead sources, they can still get them a little cheaper, or they're just not buying as many right now because prices are so high. So it's in a market like we're in right now, it's a little bit harder to get the deals, and then it's a little bit easier to sell them and to maximize your profit on the sales side. When we're in the other end of the pendulum, if you will, it's easier to get the deals, and then a little bit harder to get them sold sometimes. Or you might be selling them, and you're like, man, I'm really discounting this thing to get it moved, but you don't have just tons of people out there like looking for a flip. So.